Today's episode of Dungeon Crawlers Radio is brought to you by Gamers Inn, your one-stop location for all your gaming needs. Located in Lehigh City, Utah, their fun and friendly staff will be more than happy to answer any of your gaming needs. Just remember, Gamers Inn, it's where adventures begin.
It's time to power up.
Autobots, roll out!
Broadcasting live from the DCR studio.
Oh yeah!
The Geek Revolution starts here.
Excellent!
Get ready for the #1 hit geek radio show out there.
Well, it is impressive, isn't it?
Because it's time for Dungeon Crawlers Radio.
Let's get ready to rumble! And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
All right, and welcome to another episode of Dungeon Crawlers Radio, where we're here with Scott, Mackenzie, myself. I just did the roll call for us, and apparently my book.
Oh, I just found that in my bag.
Yeah, just randomly
thing.
found it in your bag. All right.
You trying to kiss up?
No, I'm telling all of our people, all of our listeners, you should go buy it, and then you can read all about Daniel and his. It's very interesting so far. I love it.
Really? We'll have to talk off air. Anyway, so yes, Giant Dragons. I just can't wait till you get to the point where your character shows up.
I don't know if I want to read that part.
You're in there.
So what are we talking about today, Daniel?
But I'm just gonna say this: at least you're not in the part where things explode and body parts come showering down from the sky.
Why not? That sounds cool.
Yeah, well, it's a cool scene, but Scott's character isn't there.
It would be very awkward because I know if I was actually there, I'd say, "Hey, can I get a hand?"
Oh, I should have used that line. That would have been awesome. All right, anyways.
Sequel.
Moving forward. Yes, sir. I'm thinking about it. So, this episode is going to be a special one since Father's Day is just around the corner. We're going to be talking about fathers in comic books, TV, and movies. So.
Oh, wow. I thought it was just
things.
Comic books.
No.
Wow.
Well, there's dads in like superhero.
Well,
TV
there's
shows
dads
and
everywhere.
Movies. So yeah,
They kind of have to be around.
You know, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I'm trying to think
yes?
of one species that doesn't need the dad, but it's just not. I think there's a couple in Star Trek that produce asexually.
Amoebas.
That's true.
And Tremors, they don't have daddies.
No, Graboids don't.
So they don't have daddy issues then.
No.
I think that they have daddy issues because they don't have a daddy, period.
No, they have extreme gas.
That's only in the third stage of their development.
But still, that's
In
part of their
life.
development. Yes.
That's true.
You've probably not watched Tremors that much.
I don't know what that means.
So, the first one, they're the worm creatures. The second one, they're on two legs and they can see through infrared. And then stage 3, they can fly, but they're called the ass blasters because they fart and flame comes out of their butt and they fly into the sky.
They basically they blue dart themselves into the air.
And
Where
then
do
they
people
glide.
come up with this stuff?
I don't know.
I think that they had a home run with #1. They got another home run with #2.
2 was okay, yeah. Then
I
3
love the plot development of #2.
3 was bad.
But yeah, basically they said, hey, for #2 we need to make a change to make them different and more dangerous in a different way.
Yeah.
And so, it was a success it was a direct-to-video release, but it was still a success. But then all of a sudden they said, let's replicate that formula and evolve them again, which was unnecessary. It was like the plot line was going up, and then all of a sudden it did this. Like it arched backwards.
Yeah.
Instead of plateauing.
Well, and then they did #4. And then they went to the Old West.
I thought 4
what?
was the Old West.
No, yeah, 4 was the Old West. They went to the Old West. And then they did a #5, which has Bert, and then they introduced Jamie Kennedy. And now they're working on #6.
Wait. #5 has come out? I thought
5's already out.
I thought we were talking about #3. And then there was a TV series for a little while.
Yeah, there was. But so #5 they go back
See, I
to
thought
Bert.
#5, Bacon is coming back. I thought that was going to be
Bacon's
#5.
in 6. He's coming. It sounds like he's coming back in 6, and that's going to wrap the series up. Rumored. We'll see if it actually is.
Okay.
That's Tremors 5.
No, 5 is already out. 5 has Jamie Kennedy.
Holy cow, you're
Kennedy
right.
in.
There is a Tremors 5 Bloodlines.
Yep.
I am behind in
That's
my
where-
Trevors
and Bert finds out he's a dad. and Jamie Kennedy is his son. Yeah.
Wow.
I watched it. That
How
was
is it?
the worst 2 hours of my life.
So Tremors 6, though, is supposed to be
6
good.
maybe. I don't know. We'll
6
see.
might be good. Okay.
Yeah.
I still have no idea what any of this means.
That's okay.
Tremors, they're worms. They're giant worms. They're
Graboids.
not under the sun, but under the ground.
Yes.
Those need to stay under the ground.
Yeah, these
they're
are
amazing.
giant worms.
No,
that
thank
eat
you.
people.
The first one?
I don't taste good. I'm very
It's a
rare.
sci-fi classic.
Yeah, I like the first one. All right.
When the first
So,
came out.
moving on. Let's talk about dads.
Oh, right. Dads.
Yes.
Daddies.
So, there's several
Father's
out
Day.
there. We can start with Superman.
Can we start with
Jonathan Kent.
comics?
Are we talking
specifically?
Jonathan Kent or Super Dad Jor-El?
Let's go with Jonathan Kent.
Can I just start by saying that if you're in a comic book, you have to have daddy issues because almost every single one of them has either lost a father or has a horrible father. Like if you're a good father, you have no future. Have you noticed that? If you're a good father in the comics, you're dead.
Like Jonathan Kent, who has a massive heart attack.
Bam, dead.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne's father, who raised him good until that point and was trying to
gets
change Gotham City.
Murdered in the street.
Bam, dead. Peter Parker's dad, missing. Uncle Ben, who was a father figure, gone, dead. It's just like if you're a good father figure or somebody who's actually leading up to something, it's like the Disney paradox.
Well, you've got
The
to have
mentor has to die.
You have to have tragedy to trigger the superhero.
So where does Alfred fit in with your theory then? Because Alfred
becomes a father figure, which I love. Yes, he is a good father figure.
Well, I
And he's
wouldn't.
still
I wouldn't,
around.
I
But he
wouldn't
has to
say
follow after
Alfred is the
tragedy.
father, though. I think Alfred's more the big brother.
Really?
You think Big Brother?
I think more big brother than father.
Now, are we talking comics or Gotham? Because Gotham.
We're
I
not
can-
talking about Gotham.
Gotham definitely.
We're not talking about Gotham.
Yeah, but
let's
no,
talk about
comics.
the comics.
I think comics, or even a lot of the movies. I think it's more. He's more Big Brother, because if he was the dad, the father figure, he would rein him in, but he doesn't. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go along with you, just to make sure you're safe. So that's more like a Big Brother. That's kind of there to protect you, to make sure you don't stumble over yourself, but not to the point where he says, "Oh, you've gone too far," type thing.
I would say uncle rather than big
Or
brother.
maybe even uncle.
I would
works.
go as far as uncle because he does, Master Bruce, you've got to understand. And like he tells him all
Yeah.
the stories. He's trying to lead him on the right path, but at the same time, he's not going to send him to his room.
Yeah.
No, and he really doesn't.
No.
He does point out the consequences to his actions, but he doesn't say no. You should not do that to a certain point.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at let's look at Joe West on The Flash. I mean, he definitely pulls the dad rank. Like,
Oh, he's definitely a dad.
Yeah.
Regularly.
You're doing this dumb, blah blah blah. Go to your room, stuff like that.
Ugh,
So how
sorry.
long before he dies?
Well,
There was a
technically-
rumor he was supposed
technically-
to be dead in this last season.
Well, we did see him die. Technically, at
Technically,
Flashpoint.
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And we saw him die in the alternate in Earth 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We saw that Joe die.
Yep.
But I'm still creeped out by the fact that he's okay with his kids being together.
Well, he knows that they're not blood. But it is kind of weird.
It's a little.
They've grown up
creep
as
factor.
kind
it's
of brother
basically
and
it's
sister.
the adopted thing, which
Yeah.
is kind of
Yeah, no, it is weird.
But
So
if you
he-
think about it as the true love, like I'm sorry, but even if I was adopted by my old crush's parents, like I'd be totally fine still marrying her.
Yeah.
Well, I would have been, but I married my wife, and I'm very happy about that fact.
Yeah. Well, no,
But at the
It is kinda
time,
weird,
looking
yeah.
back,
It is weird. So, but I mean, John, you've got a point there. A lot of superheroes, their dads that are good are not around, but the dads that were abusive and jerks are still hanging around. It's like, what the heck?
yeah.
Still
Well,
there.
'cause-
Hal
Oh,
Jordan.
yeah, if you're a
again,
jerk.
another great dad, blew up in an airplane.
Well, and the crazy thing is that if you want to go back to Superman, and Jor-El's still always there too, but Jor-El is kind of that jerky dad.
Yeah, Jor-El is a jerky dad in a way, but again, he's a computer program too. I mean, if you look at Smallville, I love Terrence Stamp, but probably one of the worst interpretations of Jor-El
Agreed.
ever.
The clone was better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in season
just,
9.
it was just really weird how jerky he was, and it was just like nothing like the Jor-El that we experienced, or let alone the weird flashback where Clark was Jor-El when Jor-El came in the 50s.
Yeah, that was weird.
I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. Every season
There
has
are
a
some
couple.
weird things about Smallville.
That's because they have the occasional weird writer.
Yeah, even though it
It's
was
not
a
a
good series.
single
It was a
writer.
good series,
So.
but
I
still,
love Smallville.
Michael Rosenbaum was probably my favorite Lex Luthor ever. And again, he had a really weird dad.
Oh my gosh, Lionel's a creep.
Lionel is horrible.
And yet he never dies.
No, and then he eventually becomes like, well, at least in Smallville, he becomes like Clark's best supporter. And it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, but then he does die being Clark's best supporter, and then they bring him back in season 10, and he goes back to being Creepo Dad.
Well, that's because he's from another universe. Yeah. It's like, why?
It's complicated. It gets frustrated.
Why do we have to have complicated dads?
Because we wouldn't have comic books without them.
I know. You know, and then then we bring up Flashpoint. Bruce is the one that died, and then Thomas Wayne's around, but Thomas Wayne is a jerk. He's taken up the mantle of the Bat. He uses guns. He dismantled Wayne Enterprises. He now owns a sleuth of casinos and cat houses and so on and so forth.
Looking back at the Joker's theology, it took just one really bad day to drive him to that, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not only did he lose his son, but he lost his wife to the persona of the Joker.
He lost his wife and his unborn son to a car accident.
Okay, I'm thinking about it different.
I'm so confused right now.
For the Joker.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it
Are we talking
different.
like Joker or Martha Wayne Joker?
Joker, not Martha Wayne Joker.
See, I was thinking about Martha Wayne.
See, I thought you were going there
so
too.
flipping back. So Martha Wayne Joker, she went insane because she watched Bruce die in her arms.
Yeah.
And so she became the Joker, which I think was a beautiful...
Oh, it was beautiful.
Beautiful to have her as the Joker and Thomas as Batman. You know, it made sense why that relationship where he never really captured her, so on and so forth.
They were ultimate foes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
The whole dad thing.
I like that other...
That dichotomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. No, it was great.
Okay.
When they revealed that, I'm like, holy crap. Because I'm like, who could the Joker be for Thomas? And then they reveal Martha, and it's like, perfect.
Yeah. Well, at least Star-Lord had a good dad. Oh, wait.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
That was sarcasm.
I know.
That was sarcasm.
Again, another dad in the superhero universe that has a giant ego.
May I point out his name is Ego.
The size of a planet.
Ba-da-da-da.
And he's a jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, really. He just wants to conquer the universe. I mean, it really looked like there was going to be a cool dad story until you actually find out his motives, and then it's not a cool dad story. He's just using his kids.
Well, and that's the thing.
Well, then you find the true dad.
Was Yondu all along.
Yeah.
Which
but
is
he wasn't
crazy.
really his dad.
Well, not biologically, but emotionally.
I really liked that twist with Yondu's character, which was great because, in the first movie you didn't really see that, but it was kind of hinted at it.
It was alluded to for sure.
And then they really punched it up in the second one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I pulled my girl card and cried when he died.
It's okay.
I was about to say, well, see, at least we have a father figure who survives and lives happily ever after. No, we don't. Superheroes' dads die. Which, the lesson I'm taking from this is if I want my kids to be a superhero, then I have to be a crappy dad or I have to die. One or the other.
I'll give you a poison apple.
That's not helping.
See, even Baby Groot's dad died.
I'm going to cry now. Why would you even say that?
Truth!
That's not nice.
But it's true.
But Peter's like his dad now.
It's true.
What does that mean?
Oh, Peter, hide. Hide, Peter.
Yes, Peter, run, hide. Yeah, I mean, it just seems to be the theme. Even Spider-Man, when he was going to have a child, the child ended up dying. So it's just like, yeah, fathers in superhero land cannot be alive, or they have to be Titanic jerks to live.
Well, I feel like that's definitely a writing device to kind of associate with us as an audience, because all of us feel like we're going through these difficult times in life, and then we see the superheroes. If the superheroes had the perfect family, we, in times of our own trials and difficulties, we wouldn't be like, oh, well, I can look up this.
Oh my gosh! I just thought of a superhero whose dad didn't die.
Are we talking about Spider-Man in one of the alternate realities?
No. So the Fantastic Four.
Which one?
Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm have a son who has, the son got sucked into Onslaught and Professor X and Magneto. But he has psychic powers and he's still Mr. Fantastic's still alive, and he's got a good dad and mom.
Yeah, but you can argue Charles Xavier and his son.
Well, no, yeah. And so, Professor X is still alive, even though his son is crazy and tried to
psychotic.
kill Magneto and then ended up killing him and started the Age of Apocalypse.
So that means you can argue it the other way around,
That
too.
means if you're alive, then maybe you have a crazy kid.
Yep.
Which some of us
It's like
can
that
understand.
yin-yang. There has to be
I know,
balance.
it's this weird...
Why can't families just be normal?
Because normal would not be a fun read.
I would really like to
And
see
it's
that.
overrated.
Wait a minute.
family.
The Incredibles. Haha. The Incredibles
That's
is
true.
one.
That's true.
But we don't know what's happening with the sequel. For all we know,
could be
Violet
divorced.
could be violent.
Okay, hey.
In the next one.
I'm just staying within the bubble of 1 because 2 doesn't exist yet. So at least we have one little breadcrumb
That is true.
in the universe of positivity.
Well, what about Wonder Woman? Well, no, her dad's dead.
She doesn't have a dad.
I was going to say she doesn't have a dad. She's made out of clay and lightning.
See, I don't know. I'm still partial to believing what the God of War says. So I kind of like
What?
the thought of, her mom and Zeus. Because Zeus was a player.
No.
That's
Getting
how-
bizet?
No.
Yeah, I like that
Okay.
idea better
No.
than clay.
It's
weird.
her mythos has always been she was crafted from clay by
I know that was her mythos, but I think in this movie, I
the
like that
queen of
idea.
the Amazons.
You're entitled
and
to your own
Zeus-
wrong opinion.
And Zeus
Exactly.
breathed life
And you
into
are
her,
yours.
which means her mother really is Gaia. Sorry.
I'm sticking with this
'Cause
until I see
Gaia
the sequel.
is the earth, and she's a goddess.
Does that mean she has 2 moms then?
And she has an adopted mom. And as you tell in the movie,
So
they
who's the
continue to
adopted?
say,
Dun,
you're
dun,
not
dun,
an
dun.
Amazon. They continue to tell her she is not an Amazon.
You have a point there.
Still, I think of Zeus as
God.
her father.
Zeus is her father,
Exactly, see?
but he's a god.
And he's dead.
Is he?
They never really said one way or the other. They just said he disappeared.
Yep.
He used the last of his strength.
He used the last of his strength. They never said he died.
Oh, so you're saying that Zeus is still alive?
Potentially, he could be.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
Just
Intrigue.
biding
Yeah,
his time.
They never say Zeus died. They just said the last of his strength.
Then where has he been for the last 2,000 years? I've heard of not being there for your kids for like a year, 2 or 3, but 2,000? Come on.
Recharging.
He has daddy issues too.
He does. I mean, come on.
Apparently.
Kronos
Kronos.
ate him. For crying out loud.
And then he cut his way out of his stomach.
Yeah. That's major daddy issues there. I have never wanted to eat any of my kids.
I wouldn't ask my mother about that one.
I one time put my cat in like the, what is that, like a pot? And I sent the picture to my wife and I said, I'm hungry. And he was so cute because he was just a little kitten. He was looking at me like, what's happening now? It was adorable. Please don't. The fire wasn't on. It was completely safe. Don't send the animal right.
You
there.
are a
Yeah.
terrible
He
cat
just
parent.
put the cat in the pot to take a picture. There was nothing on. There's no water in it.
He's thrilled. He's still happy. He's a happy-go-lucky kitten right now.
Yeah.
And
So
I love him. See, I'm a good daddy, which means he will turn evil and eventually try to kill me.
He is a cat. All cats do is sit there and judge.
exactly.
And
They're
eventually go evil. Yeah.
You're not a daddy. You are a pet. He is the master. That's how cats think. Yeah. You're just there for their amusement and to feed
So
them.
all listeners, as you're looking down at your cat, know that soon, maybe not soon,
There will be a
but
cat
someday.
That's why we have dogs, to balance the world out.
Just remember, when they're purring, they're actually thinking about your enslavement.
If dogs were to disappear, then I think the end of the world would be nigh, because cats would rise up and then we'd be toast.
Didn't they do a movie about that?
Yeah, I think they did, maybe.
Cat.
I don't know.
That ages
I never
me.
saw it.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's worried about, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I'd be more worried about Rise of the Planet of the Cats.
I agree. Cats are
It all
just...
starts with cat videos.
Well,
The cat videos are awesome.
See, that's why
Exactly.
there are cat
See, that's what
videos.
they want you to
They're
think.
placating you. They're getting you, oh, they're so adorable. So that one night they can sneak up on you and stab you with their knife.
Oh, look at the kitty cats. They're carrying Uzis and machine guns.
It's like Logan, where Professor X is sitting there talking to Logan, all befuddled, and then he walks up, puts his fist on his chest, and blades come out right through the heart.
I cried at that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in my heart. Okay, so
That's
fathers.
exactly what cats are going to do.
That's another father story between him and X-23.
Yes, a really weird one.
A really weird one, but still.
It is a father. And what
he
happens?
accepted that mantle, and
he dies.
Yes, the one man who we always believed could not die dies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How awesome is that?
Okay, we've got to have some other.
So we have
sides.
decided that father figures die.
Yes.
No, we've decided good father figures die.
Because the only ones who haven't died are the Fantastic
That is true
Four,
because you got Magneto with Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch.
They all cray-cray.
And they're crazy, and he's not a good dad.
At least in Avengers, Scarlet Witch isn't as cray-cray.
Well, it's because she's not tied to Magneto.
Exactly.
And she's also not tied to Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
remove
do not call
the
her
father
Scarlet
figure
Witch.
entirely,
But even
and she's okay.
in the Avengers, she is a little nutty.
A little bit, but not.
We're
But
talking
not-
Age of
not-
Ultron, right?
Yeah,
Not Civil
yeah,
War.
but not
Okay.
overboard.
Yeah.
Nutty.
Yeah.
And I'm
Although,
sorry,
if you want to get
Quicksilver's
technical, she didn't become that true hero figure until her brother died.
weird. Yeah.
Who was kind of a father figure?
I'd go, well,
Dude, that
brother
was-
figure.
Yeah,
Brother.
they're leaning pretty heavily on each other,
Yeah.
weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, they're twins.
Yeah.
I was reaching. The reach failed.
The reach did fail.
Sorry.
Anyone else?
Hey, Hawkeye's a good dad. Of course, his kids aren't superheroes. He is.
Let's hope that he retires and disappears for a little while, and that nobody finds him.
You mean not in a S.H.I.E.L.D. prison?
That was the biggest, I'm not going to lie, going into that movie, in fact, going into the last two movies where Hawkeye is in them, every single time, I'm just, clenched the entire time thinking, don't kill Hawkeye, don't kill Hawkeye, don't kill Hawkeye, don't...
See, and that was a fun reveal when they revealed that, hey, he has this whole secret life with, an actual wife and
I know,
kids.
it's
And
so
it was so
nice.
sweet. And it's also like he did it to protect him. But that is evidence of a good father figure who is not...
He's protecting his kids.
And he's not forcing his beliefs on his children either. He just wants to protect them from the world.
Yeah.
Because the world is bad.
The world
Yes.
sucks.
So there we go, we have a good father figure.
Yay!
Yay, we found one.
But none of his kids are superheroes, so that kind of...
He's in the comics. You didn't say they had to be
Okay.
superheroes.
All right, good.
I can see where you're
We
coming
found two
from
now. Yay!
Can the Fantastic Four count? Because they're still... Their movies aren't exactly what I would call...
Well, in the comic
Good.
series, but then I think everything got rewritten so
I'd say
they don't have
watchable.
that kid anymore.
Watchable works too, but I haven't seen this last one, and I don't really plan on
Oh,
it.
don't. Please don't.
Are you kidding me? The only reason why I watched the first two that came out in the early 2000s, Chris Evans.
Those are okay.
And they were okay.
This last one?
They were okay for the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't up to Spider-Man 2 at the time, but
No.
they're fun.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like they treat the Fantastic Four almost like the stepchildren of the movie world. Like they're not quite sure how to get to them. And let's be honest, The Incredibles came out right after the first Fantastic Four movie did, and that's kind of in a similar vein.
It is. Well, and Fantastic Four is hard to do. It really is. You got a guy that stretches, super smart. Ooh, that's an amazing power. And then a woman that can turn
That is a
invisible
power.
and create barriers, which
I'd
is
have
a good
fun with
power.
that.
That is a good power. Then you got, Johnny Storm, which turns into a giant flaming ball of fire, shoot out
He's
fireballs,
hot.
and can fly. That's awesome. And then you got Thing, which is always a giant rock monster. So you got half of the team that has awesome powers you can use, and then the other half that you really can't. And the Thing's always mopey about, woe
How he
is me,
looks.
I'm a rock dude, and no one likes me. And
I related to that because that's how I always feel looking at my belly going, woe is me. I'm a big fat guy.
yeah, but what do you do with that character? They tried to do something really cool. I think Thing was the only decent character in the new movie, but seeing all the stuff they cut out of the movie really diminished that character. They really could have built on that character more, but they didn't. And then Doom was horrible. Yeah, they just slaughtered him. Yeah.
Who even played Doom?
Did you ever see the Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time?
Love that movie.
So the brother that had the dark goatee.
Oh,
He played
Garciv?
Doom. Yeah.
No way.
He was Doom.
No way. I
And
cannot
then-
picture that.
Yeah, and then not only that, he wasn't even in the metal mask. He was this weird green glowy guy.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
That's
Don't watch Doom. Don't watch it.
Let's move on.
Yes. But they had a dad figure in that, and he died too.
See?
Yeah.
It's just,
It's the theme.
it is. It really, Disney kind of follows the same theme. And it
But that's
bothers
mommy
me.
issues.
Mommy
Yeah,
issues, but
it's
also
mommy.
dead dads. Lots of them.
No,
At least
Bambi's
a dead
dead.
man.
Bambi's
mentors.
dad isn't dead.
Who?
He just Bambi.
Bambi.
He just doesn't pay attention to his kid.
No, he pays attention to the rest of the forest
He rules
instead.
the forest and just kind of looks at his kid from far off.
And then we won't talk about the Lion King because I don't think any person in my generation will ever recover from that death.
That was a tough death.
That was a very tough death.
That was an awesome movie.
It was an awesome movie.
I'm excited to see the live action version, actually, which I never thought I'd say.
And James Earl Jones is coming back to voice Mufasa.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So excited.
Hopefully he has a lot more lines than he did in Rogue One.
Hey.
Oh, daddy issues. Front and center with that one.
Rogue One, yes.
Hey, there's a dad that still survives. He's
Nope.
a jerk, though.
Wait, in which movie?
Star Wars? He does survive for a while.
Yeah, survives until Return of the Jedi. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't Qui-Gon Jinn arguably a father figure? And boom, he's dead in the first movie.
He's a big brother.
Depends on to who, because I would say to Obi-Wan, he's a big brother. But to Anakin, I would say he's more of a
Yeah,
father
to Anakin,
figure.
Yeah.
he'd be a father figure.
And
in a
who's the
way.
one who ended up with all the issues?
Yeah, Anakin. But that's because,
That's true, because he does come back and speak to Anakin in episode 2.
yeah,
And in the Clone Wars.
yeah.
True.
There's several times Qui-Gon does, so. But that's because he was able to save his consciousness within the Force. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
We're tangenting. really
everything
bad.
is bad on daddy issues. So either be a really good father and accept the fact that your superhero son could turn bad,
Yes.
unless you're Hawkeye. Like, we don't know what's going to happen to his kids.
No.
They could be bankers or doctors.
Yeah.
Completely normal.
And
Hey,
if
there's
you're
a
on
show
your
you could
deathbed
watch.
about to die and you're worried about your kids, don't worry. Since you're dying on your deathbed and they're still kids that are going to grow up to be superheroes, they're going to be great and they're going to miss you.
Yeah.
So take...
I was gonna say Star Trek,
Comfort
but
in
then
that.
I realized they did the reboot and they killed off Kirk's dad too. So
That's true, because
But
originally,
Sarek was still
originally-
around.
originally his dad was around the
His
entire
dad
time.
was around the whole time and influenced him. So, yeah.
I mean, Sarek was still around, but he's a Vulcan and they don't do emotions, so I guess he doesn't count.
No, he doesn't.
And then mommy
Then-
issues.
Then
His
there's
mom
Kylo
died.
Ren. His dad was around for a while.
And then he killed
Then
him.
he killed him.
Yeah.
I'm still not recovered from that one.
We all love Han Solo.
Who doesn't?
Who's going to die this next one? I don't even want to know.
We
I
already
know.
who's gonna die.
Shh, it's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
Not happening.
Do not
Sorry.
put that out there in the universe.
Sorry. There's
Here.
just no way.
Let's just go through and re-edit all the new Star Wars movies so that nobody dies. How does
I
that
agree
sound?
with that statement. Let's do it.
There is a petition out there that people are fighting against Disney's new, getting rid of the EU, that they're trying to bring it back and
I saw
prevent them from making any more movies. They want them to do older movies with older storylines, but not make.
You
new
mean like
movies.
when the books were coming out and everything? Like
Yeah.
Mara Jade?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love a
We
Mara Jade
miss-
movie.
We
Yeah.
miss Mara Jade on the
Mara
show.
Jade is awesome. And Jaina.
Well,
Oh.
there's all these great characters that are now poof.
Yeah.
But
Dash Rendar?
oh yeah, no more Dash.
No more Dash.
And then they've neutered Thrawn.
Yep.
I thought Thrawn was in this last episode.
He's in Rebels,
He's
but
in.
he's
He's
just
in
not
Rebels?
the same character
No.
that you saw in the
But-
books.
Thrawn is awesome.
Not according to Rebels.
Rebels, why'd you have to destroy something?
Well, okay, they tried to bring him back. In all fairness, it's just they gave us more of the second grade version of Thrawn instead of like the full-blown college course.
I accept that argument.
Yes, that's true.
Why'd you have to go and use logic like that?
I don't know.
I
don't even know where
I
that
can't
came from.
argue.
Because it just came from the awesomeness that's inside Scott's head.
Are there any good fathers? There's got to be a good
There
father.
are. Honestly, there are. Even let's even look at the ones that have died. They have.
Oh,
more
yeah, the
often
ones
than
that
not,
died are
they
great.
they have sacrificed
I
themselves.
mean,
in
who
one way or
doesn't love
another.
Jonathan Kent?
Yes.
Jonathan Kent's like the dad you always wanted.
That's true.
Yeah.
Jonathan Kent.
He
a
dies of-
stepfather, but still.
He dies of a massive heart attack.
But he's a paragon of virtue.
Yeah,
and he guides
no, I mean,
Kent throughout
that is
the
the
rest
thing.
of his
The
life.
dads that have died have been great father figures up until their untimely death. You know, Thomas Wayne was a good father until he was shot down. Jonathan Kent was a great dad, until he had his heart attack.
Barry Allen's dad was amazing, even though in like the TV show he's in the prison.
No,
the entire
Barry
time,
Allen's
but-
dad was a good guy, but then he
Yeah.
got framed. Well, they accused him and put him in jail for his wife's death. when really he didn't do it. They just thought he was insane and crazy. But even then, he still tried to protect his son. You know, even looking at TV series, he figures out who the Flash is, and he still tries to protect him even from Joe.
See, and that's one father-son relationship that I do miss from the TV show is between Barry and Henry. Because when you think about it...
There it is. I don't know. Everyone, we just had dead sense when you think about it. So Scott just decided to take a photo, and all of us shut up.
What? It's a behind-the-scenes photo. Just act casual. Should I fly casually?
No, it's okay. You know, so yeah, that is one thing that was disappointing is his character they got rid of. But then they bring him back as Jay Garrick, his doppelganger, and there's that weird kind of dynamic because Barry sees him and wants to call him dad, but he's not his dad.
But they played that very well in the last couple episodes when we saw him. They played him more as a mentor figure and they started to do that in when he went back in Flashpoint, and they tried to, and he's like, no, stop this.
Yeah. But you can still kind of see Barry struggling with it.
Yeah.
To a point. But, you know, even then, he did sacrifice himself. So there are, at least the dads that have died, they were good dads up until that point.
Smart Money says Joe West is not living past this next season.
I want to argue against that, but the formula says otherwise.
He'll stay. Yeah, I think
You think so?
You think he'll stay?
I think he'll at least be there till at least season 5.
I want him to be there till season 5 because I love Joe. I love his character. I love the actor. I love everything about him in the show.
Well, the reason why I believe that is because...
But the formula says otherwise. The
formula says... that's why
Barry's
I hate
gone.
to say it.
Barry's in the Speed Force. So season 4, I think a majority of season 4 is going to be Kid Flash, and he's going to need Joe behind him.
I can see that. And I can get behind that.
Yeah. And then the whole thing for season 4 is to get Barry back. I think that's where we'll see that go.
So
I would be very disappointed if in episode 1 they get him out like they did with the Flashpoint. I wish they would have drugged Flashpoint out more.
See, and I think they could have had a lot more fun with Flashpoint if they did it like they did the Invaders. In that mid-season arc where it spanned across the 4 shows, they could have had so much fun with Flashpoint.
We could have seen an alternate Oliver. We could have seen an alternate.
Well, because they wanted to get in with the new storyline. They wanted to get in quicker.
Yeah, and that's really what it was. Is they wanted to get into the storyline, but I wish they would have at least given us 2-3 episodes. Pulled that off instead of cramming it into one episode. I think that.
And I think it suffered because of that reason. Because we didn't really have an opportunity to see how Flashpoint was going to affect Oliver, the Legends, even Supergirl to a certain point. Because even though she's in the multiverse, she's still technically part of that universe.
You know, it would have been. They could have tied that all in because we could have seen. Diggle and his wife with a son. We could have seen Oliver happy with maybe Sarah or with Laurel or whoever. We could have seen some of these other villains.
Maybe less daddy
ended
issues.
Up showing up. Yeah. So I don't know. But all right. So
I'm like searching online now for any good dads.
We got to wrap this up really quick.
I know, but there's got to be some other good story other than.
Are you saying good dads that are still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Good dads that have, I guess superheroes can't have the happily ever after because they're superheroes. And they have to have that conflict.
Yeah.
But.
Because didn't Superman have a kid they adopted from Krypton for a minute?
Well, it depends.
Bruce Wayne had a cool kid, the son of Batman.
Are we talking Damian?
That kid is
Damian's grandfather is Ra's al Ghul.
He's a homicidal, crazy kid. He will cut your neck and slice your head off
and laugh at you.
But he's the new Robin, and he could be good.
No,
Batman can fix him.
No, Batman.
I believe in
Batman
Bruce.
is really struggling with him.
I believe in Bruce. And
I mean,
I will
so
wear a
much
T-shirt
to the point.
That says that.
There is a point where everyone thinks Bruce is dead. And Dick Grayson picks up the Batmantle and pretends he's Batman. And he's
I remember that storyline.
He hates. I mean, there's several points where he's like, "This kid's a dick."
Well, and that's the thing. Damian is another example of
good dad,
bad kid. But also, he was raised by his mom.
He was raised by
Ra's al Ghul for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
He had no chance, really. And Batman's doing his best, and Alfred's doing his best, and they're both like pulling their hair out of their head.
See, and that's interesting too, because all of a sudden you have the example of the bad dad
And the good dad.
And the bad son. Like,
well.
But I guess that's pretty
Batman,
regular, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty regular.
Arguably, how good of a dad is Batman?
If we're talking Jason Todd, not very either.
Well, no, just period. Look at all the Robins. He has kind of been the dad figure too. They're all messed up.
That's
in
true.
some
Or
form
dad.
or another. Yes, they are. I'd say Dick's probably the most normal of them all, but then Jason Todd, holy crap, man.
Yeah, he became the Red Hood.
He did. He
So dads, don't be a dick. Be good dads.
and don't die.
Well, I don't know if they aren't mutually exclusive. I mean, or they are?
No, I would just say, just simply, it
It can go either way.
we're not perfect, and that's the thing you see in comic books. Dads aren't perfect. Some are trying their best in the way they know how. Like Batman, he's messed up, so he's doing the best he can as a dad figure.
So the message we should take away from this is be the best dad you can, and don't worry, your
And
kids are going to
accept
turn out
your
all right.
humanity.
Yeah.
And accept your kids' humanity
That too.
and super abilities.
Yes.
Yes, because a closeted superhero is never a good
Because
thing.
you never know when your kid's going to be Batman.
Yes.
All right.
Or the Joker. Or Damien. You never know.
You never know.
So be the best that you can.
I have a kid named Damien. Uh-oh.
Dads, you
Anyway.
are our superheroes.
With that said, we're out of here.
I am Batman.
Just because the world is without fuel doesn't mean it can't burn. Union Forest has unleashed a dragon upon the world, and it's hungry. Henry Morgan has to save his brother and face the dragon. Check out The Shadows Above the Flames, written by our very own Daniel Swinton and published by Immortal Works. You can find your copies on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, or anywhere books are sold. So go get your copy today and find out what happens to Henry and Rick.